All right, Miguel, how are you? We're live, man.
How are you, Eddie? Good to see you again. What's going
you,
on?
you too. What's going on is computer challenges, as you know, but we're okay to admit this while we're live. Yeah, for some reason I couldn't get my microphone working, so we've come in almost 60 seconds late, ladies and gentlemen. So you'll see me clicking around to do my various things, like put the old disclaimer up. There's our get out of jail free card. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, today we are recording this. So the date today is last day of February 2022. And so I think what we are likely going to be doing, Miguel, in this Ask Me Anything is focusing on things like how to stay safe in times of extreme uncertainty. Because, of course, we have international conflict around the world right now, which is very stressful for a lot of people. The only opinion I want to have about the conflict is that our hearts go out to all human beings. That's it. That's the only opinion on the actual conflict. We will leave the conflict to other people to talk about. But what we are very much interested in is cyber conflict, cyber safety. And of course, this isn't Ask Me Anything. So we can go anywhere with this conversation. And where I want to go with this is you and I getting to know each other a little better, because we've been colleagues and we've known each other quite well for, I think, maybe 2 years. But really, since the pandemic. And so we've never met in person. We see each other on social. And so, Miguel, let's just start letting the audience know who you are, where you're from, and what gets you out of bed in the morning, what gets you excited.
Sure. So I am Miguel. I am from a tropical country called Colombia, which is in South America. And I have been living on the States for mostly more time here than in my country for about almost 25 years. And what I do for living is I do cybersecurity. This is my passion. This is what I love to do. I like to create awareness from small businesses, entrepreneurs, all the way to enterprise. I help national partners and resellers to create security solutions that they can resell to the customers, and they can help the customers to be more protected to the internet, especially in the time that we are navigating today. It's crazy. That's me in a nutshell.
Right, got you. And so you're dedicated to supporting the partners, the value-added reselling community, is that right?
Yeah, that is correct.
That's your role. Okay, fantastic. So Checkpoint has this beautiful relationship with what we call value-added resellers or partners or channel, right? Those are different words for the same folks. And so you can think of, any of these large IT shops that we in the old days would say turn screwdrivers for you, because we weren't doing that back in those days. Today it's all cloud, so it's not turning screwdrivers, it's clicking buttons. But that partner community has dedicated resources such as you, Miguel, and a whole other group of people to make sure that I suppose I would see it like this. You are the voice of Checkpoint to that channel, to that partner, and you are also the listening post from that partner, because surely people who have, feet on the street closest to the action, they have information that we want to garner. So I imagine you have calls with your counterparts. And who would they be at the channel? Like, who are you generally talking to? What type of title?
I talk from directors, from account executives, solutions architect, engineers, even from the people that is on the front door at the building from the partners. So it's every single piece, it matters in the partner. Everybody that you talk about cybersecurity, it matters. So this is the people that you really need to talk to.
Right. And what sort of things are they asking you these days? It's difficult to get away from, what we mentioned at the beginning with, when there's big conflict in the world, with in Ukraine right now is what the conflict I'm referring to. And it tends to dominate our thoughts. What are partners asking you about? Is there anything outside of this particular conflict? We're both in the US, so we're very far removed from it physically.
Yes. So what I hear from my partners and also from customers and friends is like, now with this conflict, how can we better protect it? Because now,
so better protect what?
How can we be better protected from cyber attacks?
Yeah,
right. Because now you're going to start receiving emails that it might be coming from the government saying to take some action, and you might not know if they are really coming from them. So these are things that we want to create awareness, how to identify those malicious emails from a real one.
Right. So what? Yeah. Right. So I caught a text on that over the weekend. Actually, we have this sort of 24-hour text that deals with things that needs to be dealt with right away. I think what you're referring to there, if you get an email from the government, it's actually potentially a spam email, a spoof, right? A phishing attack, rather not
Right.
spam, phishing attack. And what I've heard. So do tell me if you've heard this too. I've heard that basically the cyber underground in conflict areas are attempting to recruit technical talent so that they can launch cyber warfare against their enemies. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yes.
Have you
Yes,
seen that?
exactly.
Have people tried to recruit people that you're aware of? And what would those phishing emails look like?
Well, those phishing emails, they look very, very malicious, and what I hear from the feeds that I read is that they are trying to recruit group of people, and as you know, these are not just one person working in a basement, but this is now organizations that focus in this kind of warfare, if you will,
Mm.
and they are pretty much organized and launching these attacks, and these attacks, they look very, very similar, or I would say hard to distinguish from a real email. That's for example. So the
Yeah,
only so the only way to know if it is a real email is just have the basic understanding, how an email looks like, what I should be looking at. One thing that I really like to, or I tell people, is when you read an email, try to read with the voice of that people, like if that people is reading back the email to you, and then you can see, hey, this doesn't sound right. If Eddie sent me an email, and I with his accent and everything, I say, hey, why Eddie's kind of saying these sentences in this way, and why he has this tone of bossing me around, and why do I need to take this
right,
action? So this is
right.
something that we need to look into that.
I'm trying to find an example of the one I saw over the weekend, actually. I'll bring it up on screen if I can find it while we're talking. So excuse me for eyes down, not being rude. It was very interesting, though. Hacktivist, here we are. I'll get this up in a moment. Hacktivist Group Anonymous. Oh, no, this is different. They've successfully breached and okay, no, that's not what I'm looking for. That's because if people are trying to recruit others as technical skill sets to engage them in some kind of cyber war, why would they do phishing attack? Because surely, if you're deceiving me to use my talents in warfare, I just won't use them. So I'm not quite understanding what we're saying that we're seeing in these particular phishing attacks. But if I see this, I'm going to email it to myself, and then
Yeah,
I'll
they
show
can
you.
they can be using phishing attacks. I know they will be using a lot of DDoS. They will be taking over of IoT devices and use them as a or control them, and so they can initiate DDoS attacks against organizations and state agencies.
Right, it was a routers. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to copy this and I'll get it on screen if I can. My WhatsApp is down on my laptop, so I just got to email it to myself and then you'll see it. But again, if you can't deceive somebody into fighting for you because that person would just stop fighting. So I'm not quite understanding this, but we're going to bring it up at the same time as me. Actually, here we go. My WhatsApp just came up and we'll deal with this. While I'm doing that, actually, because I don't want to give dead time, let me pull this up. This is our checkpoint.com. And what we did is we put together a specifically dedicated page called Staying Safe in the Times of Cyber Uncertainty. So if you go straight to just checkpoint.com, the first banner you'll see will most likely be this one. You click in it and you can see this header that you're seeing right now. This is our live threat map. So while I just quickly fiddle around looking for this article, you're familiar with our threat map, Miguel. Do you want to just tell the audience, what this threat map's kind of doing and why it might be helpful to people, why we put this up here?
Yes, I love to show our threat map in our presentation, because it's a live threat map that we can show the audience, our customers, our resellers, the attacks that are happening in real time. This is not something that we record and play back. This is something that our sensors are monitoring and are showing in real time the attacks that are happening around the world. So this
Right.
is something really meaningful to create awareness to the community, to see, because people don't, because in a digital era you don't really see and you need to have a way to show them the attacks that are how many attacks that are happening per day.
Right, exactly. And then, so what I'm also going to do is join this. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show everybody. I wanted it to join that particular version of Chrome. Why won't that bolt into Chrome? This is the pleasures of doing things live, but this is fun. I like live. Live is more fun than not live. So here it is. All right. So here's the exclusive out of Reuters. This is what I was referring to over the weekend right here. Hopefully you can see that in your screen now. I'm still okay. This is this strange web. It's just taking a long time to load, ladies and gentlemen. I often don't go to work-related articles from my or news-related articles from my work laptop. Okay, that's what it is. Beautiful. Now you can see that finally here. I wasn't seeing you, so I'm back. All right, so yeah, this is interesting. The government of Ukraine is asking for volunteers from the country's hacker underground to help protect critical infrastructure and conduct cyber spying missions, according to people involved in the project. Wow, to me, that's very interesting. That is a development in cyber that I don't think I've seen before, right? I don't think I've seen an appeal by an official government to say, hey, it's kind of like saying, I want a reserve army or something like this.
Exactly. So at the beginning, I was talking about on the opposite way, like a government attacking another government and using all these people with these skill set to attack another government and bring them down. But on the other side, you have the same group of people with the same mindset and the skill set to defend from those cyber attacks. That's the great thing about that. Like everybody, you see everybody in Ukraine, all the citizens, they have no experience in the army. They are going out and say, I'm going to defend my country. But at the same time, other people can do it if they have a skill set in cybersecurity or networking. They can do that, and that's how they are going to help a government to protect themselves from another government.
And in a sense, it's crazy because if you think about conventional warfare and cyber warfare is starting to have impact in the real world, in the physical world, right? It can do things. It can take down missile defense systems, for example. But to have a hodgepodge kind of like, hey, anybody, do you want to come and help us out? Right? Yeah. I mean, the geeks truly rule the world today. It reminds me of one of Bill Gates's books. This is probably from 30 years ago, maybe a little earlier, where it was one of these kind of junk food books and titles. It was aimed at teenagers, and it was the top 10 things you need to do to be successful in life. It was one of those, right? You know, be a good person, get out of bed early. Then it had in italics an 11th item. So it was your top 10, things you need to do for super success in life. And then number 11, it was just tongue-in-cheek fun. It said, be nice to geeks. You'll end up working for one.
That's true.
And I thought that was great advice for high schoolers across the United States. Be nice to geeks. You'll end up working for one. Back in the day where, it was very early in the days of Bill Gates' success and all that stuff, right?
I have to confess something here that I graduated in business management, and I used to make fun of the people studying computer science, and I call them nerds and geeks and all of that. Right. And guess what? I'm working for a technology company.
Right. Well, exactly. That's right. Yeah. Traditional business has been turned around, and so has traditional warfare. And in a sense, that's good because it means boots don't necessarily have to go on the ground in a cyber warfare. At any rate, moving away from that type of the topic, what I did want to do, though, is review this page with you. It's actually the first time I'm looking at it. And since we just put it up over the weekend, it's the first time you're seeing it, too. But it's a great way for us to explore this together with the community that will be listening to this in the archive afterwards. And so, at the top, obviously, hey, look, these are our three categories of that we believe corporations and citizens need to group their thinking into for cyber safety, right? So securing network, right? Securing the cloud, and then securing people and access, all of it sitting on a strong foundation of a unified architectural position, right, which is what we call our infinity, and unified architecture. And perhaps you'll speak more to this than I will. The reason why that's important, ladies and gentlemen, is because in times of kind conventional warfare, never mind
Right.
cyber warfare, and never mind just protecting yourself as a corporation. Because look, as a corporation, this is what the non-cyber community needs to know, or the CEOs and CFOs that don't have a technical skill set need to know. We're actually always at war in that sense, not that kind of war. But if you are Bank of America, let's say, obviously there's incentive for threat actors around the world to penetrate your organization through the internet. And so you are always playing defense. And I love to say, if you're a CEO, CFO, anybody outside the IT community, outside the office of the CISO, what they need to understand is the CISO needs to be right 100% of the time. There are catastrophic consequences for the CISO being wrong once. Now,
Yes.
reverse that position for the threat actor. Is there any penalty for a threat actor being wrong? No, just a little bit of time coding. Maybe they rented an exploit kit. Maybe they made it themselves. And
Yeah.
they're attacking. There's no cost for failure. When
They
you're a
can
threat.
fail. Yeah, they can fail at any time they want. Or, I mean, actually, let's say that they try 1,000 times, and the 1,001 they get in. And I would like to reverse that back again.
Okay.
You can protect yourself from, let's say, 100 attacks. You protect yourself very well, but there was just one click away, because you were not able to identify the good from the bad, and just one click away is what it really separates you from. In other words, you are the one holding in your shoulders. You are holding the cybersecurity of your organization, whether it is a small or an enterprise organization or a multi-million organization. At that given time, it's up to you, and it's on you to protect your company, and it's only one click away.
Right. So hence our obsession at our organization for trying to reduce, and I use the word trying, and in sincerity, reduce the number of screens you have down to a bare minimum. If you can, look, realistically, 3 to 4.
Right.
But most people have got sort of 12 to 20. And anyone that says bring it down to 1, we would like to say that, but I understand it's not going to be 1. But if you can bring it down, then you can see the threat theater more clearly, right? So imagine if you're the general of a military and you have to see the same battlefield through 5 different pairs of binoculars, all giving you different details. You're picking up one set for this particular detail. You're picking up another set for this particular detail. That doesn't work. We need super binoculars, right? I just want to say a quick hello to somebody dialing in, though, who shares your last name. I don't know what VUM means, but just because that person shares your last name, maybe you know them. I don't know. But hello, Peck, for dialing in. Thank you very much. How are you going to respond there, Miguel? Yeah.
No, I was going to say that, yeah, you're absolutely right, because I mean, if you see today, we are more interconnected than probably 10 years ago, and the data is no longer in the data center. So we need to have a consolidated solution. We need to have something that we can see all these attacks happening in a single window, in a single console. And it makes it easier for the people that is managing that ecosystem of security, where everybody participates, and to see if something wrong is happening, they can see it right away, because now everything is connected. You are showing right there 3 pillars that pretty much it reflects what the reality is today: the networking, the cloud, and endpoint, and I would add to that the remote users, because with COVID now everybody's working from home, and now the data left the data center for sure. And now when you need to have visibility of your data wherever it goes, and the less clicks that you have, the more visibility that you have with less windows, it makes it more efficient for you to catch any attack that are happening in your organization.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we've got some vulnerability or security assessment tools that companies can use. But let's just get straight down to, there was an area, oh, this is not the right one. Here we are. Staying safe. There we are. That was the one I needed to be on. Okay, beautiful. So practical steps to staying safe. Let's pick on one of these. And I think that this might be interesting. Trends. All right, let's take a look at a couple of trends. Let's discuss these. We're 20 minutes past the hour. We're looking good so far, I think. So we have about 300 or 400 what we call offensive cyber operators that sit mostly in our Tel Aviv head office. And what these people do is they go onto the dark web every day. They saw a lot of this stuff way prior to, when it hits the news. So we want to be that much further ahead than everybody else in trying to understand what threat actors are trying to do, because then we can take a step back and we can go, oh, okay, do we need to preemptively write IPS signatures? Do we need to preemptively take action to stop things from happening? If we find things that are for sale on the dark web, we are questioning ourselves, how did the threat actors get them? Where might they have come from? Where are the gaps? So these people go out and they assume a persona of an avatar of a terrorist or a criminal, and then they start to figure things out. Now, most of these details, I'm guessing, would come from in fact, they do, CPR, Checkpoint Research. That's the department right there. And they're saying that 196% increase in cyber attacks on the Ukrainian government and military sector. And that compared to the early days of February. So, wow. So that's within weeks. We're seeing an almost 200-fold increase in cyber attacks against the Ukraine. What might threat actors be looking to accomplish when they're attacking the Ukraine? Critical infrastructure.
Infrastructure. I think the first one would be critical infrastructure. They want to the water system, the electricity. The next thing will be the banking system. It will be next hospitals, because it will be, but the first one is definitely the infrastructure. If they can get that, it will create a lot of chaos in the community in that country.
If you can turn the lights off, you turn the lights off in hospitals. You stop clean water. Yeah, without clean water, 1 week and that's it. That
contaminating the water. They turn off the electricity for critical infrastructure. This is, and like I said, it is just one click away.
And unfortunately, and we really don't like this in the world, given our history in the 20th century, making lists, hacking database to find out who's part of the, let's call it resistance, or let's call it, whichever side you want to attack, creating lists of those people, because then after a potential successful invasion, you can go hunt those people down. So that would be some of the things that they're looking to pick up. 4% increase on cyber attacks on Russia. Wow, that's not a balance. This is not a balanced. Okay, interesting, right? No wonder the Ukrainian government is calling out for people to help them. So in the past few days, we're seeing a 4% increase of attacks by 2. Overall amount increased, cyber attack organization increased by 2. Okay.
Yeah. And one thing that I heard also was that the Ukraine is also they are asking for help, right? But also I heard that there might be people that they were not active military people, but you might be seeing people from other countries joining them to fight Russia.
Yeah, well, and this is where the whole geopolitical nonsense gets involved, right? Because then you've got countries that just want to stir the pot. There's a wonderful documentary actually on Netflix right now that you can certainly get in the US, and it's about the Ukrainian problems for the last 20 years, not including this current thing, because they've already produced it. And it gives a good history of that poor country's use as a petri dish for other more powerful nations to play in. So that's unfortunate. So what this chart here is showing us, change in average amount of cyber attacks per organization. So on February 24th to 26th, change in average amount of cyber attacks per organization. So that's saying, oh, I see. So North America, it's saying, is minus 13%. Minus 13%. Russia and Ukraine, how much they've increased their cyber attacks compared to others. I think that's how I understand this chart.
Yes, it seems like they're more focusing on that region right now than in this region.
Yeah, so there's more action there.
Yeah.
Here's what we were talking about earlier. Phishing emails in East Slavic language increased 7-fold. So our research department has witnessed a significant 7-fold increase in malicious phishing emails in East Slavic languages, which is Russian, Ukrainian. Okay. And here's the chart that shows that. All right. Wow. Well, we mentioned that a little earlier. So yeah. And
that's crazy.
ladies and gentlemen, we see this when there is any type of event too. So even regular events like Valentine's Day, which just passed in the United States and was, right, Miguel, we see, 100%, whatever it might be, the statistics are somewhere in checkpoint.com, but we see immediate increases in phishing attacks. What's the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales?
Monday.
Boom, all these phishing attacks, faking Amazon's name and all these kinds of things, right? So we see that for any events, but it's really unfortunate that we see it.
Yeah, that one right there, that you stop right there. That says, beware of donations fraud to Ukraine. Again, This is where the email comes in because
donation.
Everybody is running on emotions right now. Everybody, like myself, I'm very emotional with what is happening today, and I shared this with you the other day that I'm also a youth leader. I work with the youth for 15 years, and my heart goes into the kids when I saw these scenes from the kids running from when they hear the alarm, and these kids start running with their parents instead of running because they are playing soccer or something like that. So when you see that kind of emails, right, because people act based on emotion, they will say, oh yes, I want to donate. And what they're not realizing is when they get these phishing, because they are trying to get your credentials, then what is going to happen is they might empty your bank account because you donated all what you have, not for a good cause, but
did you see this? Freezes bank accounts. Did you see this recently? Just last week, the Prime Minister of Canada, right? So I'll give you a little bit of a background. So this is Ottawa. This is where the Prime Minister lives, and there are a bunch of trucks right down here. So we can get rid of that. A bunch of trucks. And what had happened is, again, agree, disagree with the protest, couldn't care, not my opinion, don't have a dog in the fight, right? So we've always got to say that because, people are emotional and like, how dare you talk about Canada? And it's like, no, it's I don't have an opinion. I'm a Canadian citizen, by the way, so I could have one, but I don't have an opinion on this. So here's the very quick background. 90% of truckers in Canada are vaccinated, fully vaccinated. 10% are not. Those 10% have lost their jobs. They're annoyed about it because the government of Canada mandated that if you're going to be a trucker, you have to be vaccinated. Again, I don't care about the opinion. I don't have a dog in the fight, okay? But what I do care about is the fact that 10% and some of their colleagues who had been fully vaccinated and a lot of the community in Canada said, actually, we don't think that's fair. We don't think you can force somebody to put stuff in their bodies. Again, I couldn't care about whether you should or shouldn't think this. There are a percentage of ordinary citizens that have this opinion. Okay, so the government of Canada did not want to change this stance. You have to be fully vaccinated. So these people lost their jobs. So what they did is they went and protested. They parked their trucks in downtown Ottawa and they blocked the streets. They also blocked a very important bridge between the United States and Windsor, and it blocked trade, right? Moving of goods and services. Now, that's not cool. We can all agree on that. That's not cool. These are desperate people behaving in this way. Now, here was the response from the government of Canada. Instead of just getting the military to, let's say, move the trucks, what Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, did is he sent out an emergency, emergency law, I guess what it is. It's the first time in Canadian history that it had been enacted, and said to the Bank of Canada that all financial organizations are going to freeze the financial assets of anyone involved in the protest. Now, the problem with this is that, as one example, a single mother who donated $50 to the truckers through like a GoFundMe platform when the protest wasn't called illegal. So she did nothing illegal, right? She just donated $50 to people on a protest. Then had her credit cards, bank accounts, cash, ATM frozen. Boom, done. Now, why do I bring that up? Right. So this gets back to, the capability that, in this case, a government, or in other cases, corporations might have to affect people's lives and take money away. And by the way, it broke the protest up in like 2 days. It was done. Of course, people don't have money. They can't live. Let's just say hello to a brother. Saludo. I don't know where you're coming from, my friend, but tell us, because Miguel can probably speak your language with that kind of salute.
Yeah, he says hello.
Exactly. All right, fantastic. Tell us where you're dialing in from. So getting back to donations and fraud, that was actually what triggered the thought on people donating money to a legitimate campaign, in this case, who then suffered a consequence from it. What you were saying earlier is donations of fraud to the Ukrainian government by threat actors who simply want to steal money, right?
Yes.
And Bhupinder, you're back, my friend, and you're in Canada. So there you go. So we were just talking about our colleagues in Canada, and I've got it sometimes obfuscates the name. I'm sorry, my friend. I could dial in on my phone. I didn't do that to let me know who that is. But hello, LinkedIn user. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, beware of donation fraud to the Ukraine. Our research team also witnessed fraudulent emails taking advantage of the situation. God, that's a hard one, hey? It really, my heart goes out to these people so that they can gain financial profit, luring the recipients to donate money to fake Ukrainian support funds. Here's an example of that.
Yes.
So this would have been, right, one of the examples that we would have seen of a phishing email. So you mentioned this earlier, Miguel. So this is great, right? You said, and you nailed it, by the way. So for the audience listening, Miguel mentioned this so fast, you might have missed it. But he was basically saying, look, when you get a phishing email, these are the things you got to watch out for. I know Eddie Doyle, but if all of a sudden Eddie starts barking, orders at me, that's out of character for him. He's my colleague. We're friends. We like each other, right? So that doesn't feel right. If we look at this right here, the first thing we see is info. So, okay, info is common, but it's not specific. Right. We've got kind of a misspelled sort of name. So that doesn't really make sense to me. It might be supply media, something like that they're trying to.
Yeah. They try to, and there is something, I don't know if it happens to you though. Sometimes when I see a string of numbers, I might transpose some numbers, and that might happen as well when you are reading the email, because some email, like right there, you are showing it has your name, but also it has the string of the name at organization that whatever handle.
Exactly.
But then how the screens they show those numbers or that information is misleading.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right, exactly right there. So, and then it's got Ukrainian survival funds. Oh, these people make me sick. If Russia stops fighting, there's no more war. If Ukraine stops fighting, there's no more Ukraine. Let's reach out to Ukraine as no support is little. So again, bad English, right? No support is little. That's a red flag right out the gate. If somebody is officially sending you to some kind of GoFundMe or official campaign, there's enough people that can comb through this to make sure that they're getting it right. You are communicating with the world on a subject matter that is of deadly importance to you in this case. Chances of you making a spelling mistake is pretty slim. Now accepting cryptocurrency donation, that's another flag. That's another flag right there. It's like, where's the Visa card, right? You're not taking Visa, right? So obviously there's the Bitcoin, Ethereum addresses have been taken out. The wallet addresses have been obfuscated by us. Stand with Ukraine's take action. We will win this war. All right.
And I think also there is like a blue, is that a link that it might be there?
Right. This link right here. Yeah.
If you click that link, it might take you to a website that it is going to look very legitimate. It's going to have it's going to look like you. If you don't know how to identify the good from the bad, you're going to say, okay, it makes you feel comfortable, and Eddie, this, what it happens in their mind and the habits and all of things, that your mind creates an environment where everything is secure and make you feel like, yes, I want to donate because I feel bad for the situation. And as soon as you put that information, your credentials, your username is already in the hacker server.
Exactly. So Bhupinder, I'm going to answer your question right now, and I'm just going to walk you through it. And so let me just, if I go, I'll show you, man. So what Bhupinder's asking is, how do we get here? So let's just go to checkpoint.com right there. So boom, let's refresh. Boom. First thing, checkpoint.com. And then what you should see is the first banner is staying safe in times of cyber uncertainty. And then you hit read more. Boom. Hit read more. And then you're at the page that I was at. Okay. So let me just go back to that page and I'll get rid of that. But that's how you do it. Checkpoint.com, and then go straight to, you'll see a banner on the very top. If it cycles through, just wait for it. It'll come back for you again. And you can get to that page. All right, my friend. Let me just, I've got another comment here. And okay, yep, I can throw that one up. So somebody coming, Suprio, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, my friend. Forgive me if not. And coming in through YouTube is saying, it would be of great help if Checkpoint team can please kindly introduce and make some completely free online global certificate courses with free global certificates of completion. I'm going to get to that, my friends. Stay tuned. Stay in on this particular Ask Me Anything, because it isn't Ask Me Anything. I'm going to come back to that. I want to finish this thought on Ukraine, and then I'm going to show you Suprio. So stay tuned. Stay right there where you are. Okay, so yeah, we've got, so therefore, there are people with big hearts. Safety tips for people looking to donate to the Ukraine. So this is what you can do. So here's the fake stuff. Be careful, everybody. Be careful. And then here is, if you want to get involved and help people, spot fake domains. I'm not going to read through all of this. That's the first thing. This is exactly what Miguel was saying, right? Be wary of unusual attachments. Another thing, right? Look out for incorrect grammar or tone. We just saw that. Okay. And then Miguel mentioned this, when there's a sense of urgency, right? So when there's a sense of urgency, be careful. It's like, you got to donate now. No, not right now.
Look at that, sense of urgency, use of authority. Right. And those are the two main, I forgot how they call it, biases that a hacker use to attack the people's mind. Because it's easier for a hacker to attack your mind. Right. That attack a computer system, because it's going to take them more time and money to attack firewalls and all of that. But with just one email, like Eddie's showing over there, with the wording and the sense of urgency and authority, you will respond to that email immediately.
That's right. And
that's what we need.
The authority comes in the vocabulary of the email, but it also comes, so if they're really going to be targeting, what they'll do is, let's say, target Bank of America employees. There's something like 300,000 of them, and they'll try to pretend they're the CEO or the CFO or person of authority, right? Then it's even more authority. You get an email that you believe is from a police department, people immediately get a visceral response from it. And here's what actually happens. The blood actually moves from your head to your extremities for fight and flight, which means that you don't think as clearly, right? Yeah. So if people get an email, maybe they've had a bad experience with police officers, they receive this email and all of a sudden they're frozen. Now you're not thinking right. So this is why it works, right? Impersonating authority. And then beware of suspicious requests, right? It's these are sort of odd requests. Cryptocurrency, and you only taking crypto? Right? You need
not everybody's doing. I mean, a lot of people is doing cryptocurrency, but it's still more people are not doing cryptocurrency because they are not just learning. It's coming to the US. It's becoming more, I wouldn't say open, but more popular. And people start just learning about cryptocurrency. So yeah, watch out when somebody asking for cryptocurrency.
Well, yeah, because we have to apply logic, right? So let's say that very much illegitimate email here was actually from the Ukraine. Somebody who is in that conflict, who is desperate for money, surely they would also be accepting cash and Visa and MasterCard. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not going to limit yourself to one thing. So it's not that it's about crypto. Crypto's not bad. It's just that it's the one thing and it's untraceable. So it gives us an indication that it is a suspicious request. Okay, so now we've got a few articles, and we're going to wrap up in a minute, and I'm going to answer Suprio's question, and I'll do that live again on our website. So let me just finish here. We've got some articles for you to read, Bhupinder and ladies and gentlemen watching this, how the conflict has polarized cyberspace, and then we've got some recommendations. We've got a great security report that you can download. All right here, Bhupinder. There's a lot of stuff all on that one page. We really tried, like our teams were working diligently over the weekend to put everything in one spot like that. We can really help you guys out. Now, okay, my friends. So let's get to, you're very welcome. Oh, there's somebody else saying thank you. I always like to recognize you back, and I appreciate the goodwill and the little bit of oxytocin you just gave to Miguel and I by saying thank you. Let's get back to this. So you want to, okay. So this is with our Checkpoint learning. So let's just go to Checkpoint. I actually look at this on our intranet. So this is the first time I'm looking at it on our website, but I will search for it. So why don't we just go here, and we're going to go to, it's CP, this is Universe. It's Universe CP. That's just our internal thing. Where does, you know who I'm talking about, Miguel?
Yes. So we have in Udemy, we have we have some modules that we call Jumpstart, and this is what I am recommending people when they ask me, hey, I want to go into the cybersecurity space. Where should I go? How should I learn? And I introduced him to Udemy, because in there we have like a slim version of our CCSE training. It's just the foundation, and also it has some hands-on, so you can also not just to hear, but also you can set up your own lab and get your hands wet.
Sweet. Look at that. I didn't even know this was on Udemy, my friend. I'm so happy right now. Look at this, man. So Suprio, let me just get rid of your, I hope I'm pronouncing your name okay. Suprio. This is great, man. Look at this, Suprio. So you can go to Udemy, and wow, is there knowledge and pages, 248 pages of it, apparently. So that's one thing. But then also we've got a bunch of, because like we do the hacker range and all that stuff at our CPXs. Surely that information's on here.
So you can work, if you have a reseller that you're working with, you can work through them. And also they can give you, they have free training that they can offer to you. And Udemy is another one that we are using. It's called Jumpstart. What else do we have? We have also something that is called Secure Academy. That is a program that Checkpoint is working with universities and colleges. And sometimes those colleges, they will offer that particular training, sometimes for free or sometimes for a fee. But it's the same kind of training that we will give to our partners and customers. Yeah. And that's another good way to do that. So we have so many ways. If you want to get more information, you can contact me through LinkedIn or contact all, and we can.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Get a hold of us through LinkedIn. I mean, both Miguel and I have unusual names. So if you simply type that in, North America, New Jersey, New York, you'll find us. So find us on LinkedIn. We'll continue the conversation. But Suprio, I also did this. So I was on checkpoint.com and I just went to our search bar, right? And I typed in the word training. Right, you saw me do it, and you can go back to the archive and rewind it. So you saw me just type in training, and this is what came up. So here's a big list of all the training, some of the training we have. And so I opened up a few tabs. I'll walk you through it, Suprio, and we'll call it a day, my friend. So here's smart awareness training, cybersecurity awareness training. You can get demos right here, right? Empower your workforce, secure your organization, right? Here's more security awareness training, phishing simulations. Right. We've got over 1,000 realistic phishing templates for you to choose from, reporting and assessments for that, program automation. Okay, what else have we got? Here's cyber range. Suprio, you'll love this. This is super popular with people. We have our big events, which we just had our big ones, but we've got more coming up. And in fact, we may well have in person, Miguel, the local CPXs starting in Denver in April. I really hope so.
That's
so it
really cool.
depends on our COVID committee to make sure everything is safe for us to travel. But otherwise, Suprio, we will have these events live if you happen to be, in your region. So get hold of your local checkpoint teams in your region too. But this is the cyber range. This is a lot of fun. Saw the Phoenix, the Wizard of OS.
That's a great way to show you the skills that you have in cybersecurity. I love cyber range, and don't feel bad if you are doing your mission and you fail. Right, it's the learning experience that you get, the people that you are working with in those experiences. You learn so much from that experience.
Right, exactly. And we've got various different levels here, Suprio. And thank you for telling me I'm pronouncing your name. I'm a stickler on that. Sour lemon. I don't know. This is all good fun, man. I mean, this is just, you can just jump in here and enjoy yourself and learn at the same time.
Yeah.
Then there is official training. So R80 is the revision of our code since the very beginning. We're on R80, and you can come in and do official training so that you can be certified in our technology, which I'm assuming you're asking, for to further your career, my friend. So certainly you can get certified in our technology. There's also Hacking Point, right, which is very interesting and a lot of fun as well. And then remember, of course, all our Udemy courses right here. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Wishing you well too, Suprio. So you're from West Bengal, India. Wonderful. Thanks for dialing in, my friend.
Wow.
Okay, Miguel, I think we should wrap, and I think we should get you back 6 months from now. I mean, I've got a list of people that are waiting to jump onto the AMA, but you know what? This was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, you're finding things live at the right time and having a few people dial in. So this will live in the archive forever. Stay right there while I end the broadcast, like that. You and I can chat and debrief.
Sure.
And ladies and gentlemen, again, find us on LinkedIn. We are here to serve you and to continue the cybersecurity discussion. We would love to have it in a public forum on LinkedIn. Oh, I'll get to this question. Don't worry, Bhupinder. Absolutely, Cyber Range. It's like it is like a Hack the Box website where you get challenges and hacked machines. Exactly. Okay, cool. All right, Miguel, fantastic.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Eddie, for the opportunity. I really enjoy. I always like to hang out with you. I always learn something from you as well. This is awesome, man.
Good stuff. All right, I'll end the broadcast. Stay right there, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe online. Beautiful.